Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you are listening to this. This is Coffee. Oh, I gotta get my hands right. Coffee with Kevin. Yes, indeedy. This is Coffee with Kevin, and I am Kevin Martin, a hypnotherapist, a mindset coach, and author, speaker, all that kind of stuff. And this is my coffee. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not my usual coffee cup. Not my usual coffee cup, is it? It's water. This today is water with Kevin. Truly. All right, April Fools. This is coffee, iced coffee. But if you want to go for a little tradition, we still have hot coffee. Mm-mm-mm. So I am doing both today. I wasn't sure I was going to have the hot coffee or whatever it was, but here I am. Here I am. It's April 1st, 2025. Can you believe it? It is incredible. We are gone through our first quarter of the new year. It's not new anymore. We've been here for 3 months. 2025. In the year 2525. Oh, we still got 25 centuries to go till we get to that year. But yeah, it's exciting. April 1st is interesting. When I, for a lot of us, this is why I have these beautiful flowers in the back. April seems to be the beginning of spring, and so for a lot of us, this is where we are, and we're at the beginning of spring. And I got these beautiful flowers in the back. Hopefully, you're not allergic, and you're not starting sniffling and your eyes wheezing. I believe these are beautiful, and it's nice to have as a background. So that's why I have them today. April 1st is an interesting day because there's a lot. It's April Fool's Day, of course. April Fool's Day. And what a better person to help start off the day than the biggest fool himself, me. At least I like to think of myself as a jokester. Maybe not a cruel prankster, but a jokester. And a lot of people know me that way. One of my friends actually last night said, "Hey, what kind of things are you going to talk about today? Because I'm not going to believe you because it's going to be April Fool's Day." And I said, "Yeah, thank you for reminding me. This is our 500th episode. Can you believe it? 500. I can't believe I've done anything that much. No, truthfully, the April Fools. But it is somewhere around 270. I think we've done over 270 episodes since we started in late uh, 2019. December 2019 is when we started this. And so I've been around for a while. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So what's this day in history? And I couldn't believe how many things that seemed pertinent, that seemed relevant, that most of us would know about. The first thing, though, I just want to mention, I had never heard of this, and most of us haven't heard of this, I'm sure. It's the creation of Nunavut. Nunavut. I don't know what the heck that was when I read that. It was carving a vast region of Canada's Northwest Territories for the Inuit. So they carved a region, and it's just for them. It's called Nunavut. Now, what struck me is this was 1999. This wasn't in the 50s or anything like that. This was, 25, 26 years ago. And Canada did that as a nation uh, for the natives. So I think that was great. I thought that was really cool. April Fool's Day. We'll talk about that in a minute. What other things happened on April? Marvin Gaye, unfortunately, if you've heard of Marvin Gaye through the grapevine, what's going on? He was shot and killed by his father in Los Angeles on this day in 1984. That's a sad event. But here's an April Fool's start. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne, someone whose name you hardly ever talk about, started this small little company out of a garage. and it was who knew where it was going to go. But in 1976, they started a small little company called Apple. Yes, not a small little company anymore. And Steve Jobs, unfortunately, is no longer with us. A genius in his time, absolutely. The United States Air Force Academy was started in 1954. Today's a little bit about flying, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is interesting. 1924, Adolf Hitler was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his role in the Beer-Halt Putsch. I have no idea what that was. I didn't bother looking that up. I just thought it was interesting that he was sentenced to prison before he became the leader of Germany and ultimately the very evil man, very evil things that he had his people do. But in 1918, this is what I was celebrating. Britain starts its first war in the Royal Air Force. 1918. Pretty cool. Guess what kind of planes it were? Yeah, biplanes. Those cool planes, two wings, sometimes three wings, and they would fly and do things. But for the Air Force, guess what? It was like Snoopy the Red Baron. The Red Baron actually was a person that came out of World War One, fighting in planes. Only he was German, I believe. Also, we'll head really way back to 1578. There's two things happened. Two things relevant to today in the 1500s and 16th century. One is English physician William Harvey discovered the true nature of circulation. I think it's great when I find these things that are very relevant to today. Is relevant to medicine. Yet, it was in the 1500s. Is incredible. The true nature of circulation. I think I might have seen something on this, some video, and of course he was going through corpses and watching, looking at the arteries and the veins and everything like that. Probably very gross, but he actually discovered it for medicine moving forward after that time. April Fools. I was kind of curious where April Fool's Day comes from, and a lot of places says it started with this poem in the 1500s, and it was by Edouard de Denay. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I couldn't find it. Of course, wasn't written in English, so I found just excerpts, and one of the excerpts that leads people to think of this as the start of April Fool's Day was the fact that the in there it says, "My servants go off and say, we hope we're not doing a fool's errand." And there was a couple of other excerpts. So that may be the earliest that talks about joking and pranks and stuff like that. And of course, we do it today. God knows what's happening this moment as you're listening to me, as you're watching this. God knows the kind of pranks that are being pulled on people in the workplaces and outside, and some really small with their families, maybe little kids playing pranks on their parents, or some large ones with universities moving, dismantling a very expensive car and moving it up to an office somewhere in a tall building. Who knows? I take that because that's the kind of stuff that they did at MIT on April Fool's Day when I was back in the Boston area. So yeah, it is. It's all about pranks. To me, though, it's all about humor, and I think humor is a big thing. I think we all need humor. We all need to laugh, and we all need to really take things lightly. A prank actually gets serious sometimes too serious, depending on who's pulling it off and what they do. And we don't want the pranks to be too serious. We want the people who are getting pranked to be able to laugh at themselves. So let's look at the quotes we have today, because I've got a few quotes that I found. Believe it or not, quotes not specifically on April Fool's Day, but about pranks and jokes and things like that. So the very first one is everything is funny as long as it's happening to somebody else. Ain't that true? Yeah. Sometimes I've met people that, when someone falls, they feel bad if they got hurt, but there's something in them that says that causes them to laugh. Something in them that says, "Oh, that was silly," and they laugh. When it's happening to somebody else, sometimes it's funny. And especially if it's a silly thing, it's always funny when it happens to someone else, except when it happens to you. Except when it happens to you. I'm one of those exceptions. I am one of those exceptions. When something really stupid and silly happens to me, I just break out laughing. I just break out laughing. Okay. It is the ability to take a joke, and that's what we're talking about when it's happening to you. Ability to take a joke, not make one. That proves you have a sense of humor. Max Eastman. So when someone pulls a joke on you, can you take it? Do you really have a sense of humor? I thought that was really good. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. I put that in there. That really doesn't have something to do with humor, but we think of fools as people who make us laugh. Or at least that's kind of historical, because it was the fools in the courts of the kings and queens that would come and make the kings and queens laugh and do silly things and hurt themselves and stuff. And clowns like to try to make us laugh, and sometimes it's really silly and they're fumbling and everything like that. But this one, I think Winston was talking about fools, people who we sometimes think as, they don't do anything right, they don't know anything. And even them, sometimes they are right. And I think fools who try to make us laugh are right. I think the people that try to make us laugh can be right, especially in what they're doing. Okay, last one for today. I was too naughty as a child and played pranks. Me too. Me too. And I think a lot of us, the child within us, has to be kept alive because that child keeps us alive. I love that because I'm always talking about the playfulness. You maybe grow old in years. You may grow old in body, but if you still have that playfulness in mind that you had when you were a child, and like to laugh at things and like to maybe play jokes and even stuff like that. No matter how old you are, you still got that child, and that helps you live a long, long time. I love this. I was too naughty as a child and played pranks. The child within us has to be kept alive. I'm wondering if Narendra plays jokes on her family. I would bet you she does. I would bet you she does. That has been really cool. Let's see. Oh, Manya, good morning. Having a great day. It is April 1st. We can talk and celebrate flowers and plants and colors and having fun. Of course, it's going to be a great, great day. Well, thank you all for listening. If you like this, if you think it's valuable, comment, please. Share with your friends. And you can share this as an April Fool's thing, saying, hey, I thought this was most important and moving and life changing, and share it with them. And then say, April Fools, yes. Okay. Until next week, you have yourself an incredible day, an incredible week. and you know it's in your power. You know it's your choice to make it that way. Take care. Bye.